I, 34, male, and my wife, 33, female, have been married for 11 years with 2 children, a 10-year-old boy and an 11-year-old girl. Our relationship spans 15 years. My job allows me to earn a comfortable income ranging from $400 to $500 annually, but it necessitates occasional travel for projects. Our marriage has had its share of highs and lows. In October 2019, I traveled to Europe for work, staying there for a month. Upon my return, I was met with distance and coldness from my family. They didn't greet me at the airport. I had to take an Uber home. Communication was minimal, and I sensed something was amiss. Concerned, I asked my daughter about her behavior, and her response, "Hope you had fun on your business trip," was uncharacteristically hostile. As days went by, my wife brushed off my inquiries, attributing their behavior to tiredness after a lengthy day at school. One evening, I was using the family's AMAC to check my email. As I wrapped up my tasks, I noticed that my wife's account was still logged in. Curiosity led me to open her messages, where I found a conversation with one of her colleagues at the top. Reading through their exchanges, I discovered they were flirting, exchanging intimate photos, and even planning to meet at hotels. Shocked and hurt by what I had found, I confronted my wife. She tearfully admitted to the affair and pleaded for another chance, explaining that she had ended things with him due to overwhelming guilt. Struggling to contain my anger, I decided to take a drive to my brother's house and spent the night there instead of engaging further in the emotional turmoil at home. The following day, upon my return, I found that the kids had already left for school. My wife asked me to sit down for a conversation on the couch. She shared with me that she had felt isolated and vulnerable during that time, and her colleague had made her feel valued and appreciated. Wanting to get the full picture, I laid down the condition that honesty was essential in our discussion, and that any deceit would lead to considering a divorce. Reluctantly, my wife recounted every detail of the affair, admitting to having been intimate with him on one occasion. She expressed regret and disgust at herself for her actions. Acknowledging the pain she had caused, she expressed having too much guilt and made the decision to end their relationship. In response, the individual mentioned that he would pursue a divorce. Subsequently, he reached out to a lawyer and instructed them to initiate the necessary steps for divorce based on their prenuptial agreement. Upon returning to his room and accessing his computer to gather evidence of her infidelity, he discovered that she had deleted all incriminating materials. The following day, she issued a threat that he should not proceed with the divorce proceedings, or she would take full custody of their children. To manipulate the situation further, she falsely informed the children, during his work trip, that he was engaged in an affair and had left to see his girlfriend, when he was actually on a work-related trip. Fabricated conversations between him and another girl were also presented to the children. Additionally, she depicted him as someone who would abandon them to be with his girlfriend. Consequently, the children were misled to believe that he was in the wrong. In their country, children have the choice to decide which parent they wish to reside with in the event of a divorce. Feeling helpless due to the tactics employed against him, he ultimately decided to cancel the divorce process and opt for reconciliation. This challenging situation has persisted for nearly a year. Through this crap, my kids don't respect me like they used to. They don't show affection. My wife has been keeping the secret from my children. She also has been treating me like crap. Our bedroom is dead, and I haven't had sex for 7 to 8 months because of all the stress at home. I stay out of home most of the time. I go home only to sleep at night. This led to an emotional connection with one of my colleagues for the past month. She is also divorced. Her husband cheated on her and left her for another girl on another continent. We have long talking sessions, dinners, and movie nights. I have been deprived of love and affection at my own home. I have told my wife to start showing affection. I try to kiss her, hug her, but I am always turned down. Last week, I got intimate with my colleague. This was the first intimacy I was having in 9 to 10 months. It was the best action of my life. I have come here looking for advice. Should I divorce my wife and be with my colleague, or should I just live this double life? I feel unloved and unappreciated at home, but my colleague values my efforts. Leaving my family could confirm my children's negative beliefs about me. Any suggestions? Also, should I heed the advice to hire a private investigator during the divorce process? All I can say is, tell them the truth. Today, they may not believe you, but someday they will see what their mother has done, and you will be a family once again. There is no evidence to prove her affair, and the kids don't believe me, so I fear I will always be seen as the bad guy in their eyes. The truth will eventually come to light. Don't let her succeed. I will initiate divorce proceedings immediately. Have a conversation with the kids, explain your side of the story regarding the manipulation, and reassure them of your love. Divorce from your wife seems to be the only way forward. Music, and now for the update. It has been a week since my last post, and a lot has transpired. After reading the comments on my previous post, many of you expressed doubts about whether she is still involved in an affair or with someone else. I find it unlikely. Following the affair in October, she promptly quit her job, and we installed cameras in our home, allowing me to monitor live footage whenever needed. She rarely leaves the house as she spends most of her time binge-watching Netflix and snacking, leading to a weight gain of approximately 60 to 70 pounds. Due to this, hiring a private investigator to look into a possible affair doesn't seem feasible to me. Reddit users suggested recording conversations with her about the affair, which was a smart suggestion. I also retrieved old messages and receipts as evidence of being on a work trip last year. Some advised seeking professional help to recover texts and images from my Mac. But since my wife is tech-savvy, I doubt she would leave any traces. As a precaution, I purchased a high-quality, discreet voice recorder. I arranged a trip to my parents' house with the kids to have a private discussion with them about the situation. My colleague is aware of my plans and has been understanding and supportive of my circumstances, though not contact me for the whole week, except for work-related issues on Wednesday. My voice recorder arrived at my office on Thursday evening. I drove my kids to my parents' house. They stayed there, but I returned to my house after dropping off the kids. I spent the night at my house with my wife. I started recording and kept it in my pocket. I tried to initiate intimacy with my wife, but she was ignoring me. I asked her, "What have you done for me in the past year other than manipulating my kids against me?" She started shouting and said, "I'll make sure they never know the truth, and you'll never be able to give me a divorce." I asked her if she would ever be intimate with me, to which she answered by saying, "I have no interest in intimacy, but you have, so it's not my problem. Go look somewhere else for it." I said that I am not like her and would never break my vows for an affair like she did. At this point, she was angry and said, "I had an affair because you left me lonely and treated me like crap. If you want, you can have." One day, without interruption, she was so disruptive that neighbors could certainly hear her. This incident provided me with the evidence required to demonstrate to my children that I am not disloyal. Friday was the day when I meticulously recorded and edited audio at my workplace, saving it on various devices. I also gathered additional evidence of my presence on a business trip last year. Later that evening, I stayed at my parents' home. The following morning, I gathered my kids and explained my perspective. Although initially unconvinced, they were reassured when presented with the evidence. Witnessing my daughter's emotional reaction and receiving the love and support of my children was a long-awaited moment of joy. That night became one of the most cherished evenings of my life, as I felt a profound connection with my kids. On Sunday, I informed my wife that the kids and I would be unavailable for a few days as we embarked on a vacation. Additionally, I reached out to my attorney for preparation. "I would like you to assist me in preparing the divorce papers as I am currently with my children, getting ready for a mountain climbing trip. I have not yet informed my children about my colleague, and I am also considering starting family therapy to enhance communication with them. I plan to disclose information about my colleague to my children during therapy after the divorce. I appreciate the advice given by Redditors about using voice recording. This will be my final post, but I will provide updates if necessary. Thank you to everyone who has supported me. It's important for OP to act and have a discussion, but they should avoid giving their children a detailed account of the situation. I worry that sharing too much information with their kids might lead to treating them as confidants instead of understanding that they are still young. It's great that this community has been helpful, and I hope OP stays strong during the divorce. It's surprising to hear that X married their affair partner shortly after the divorce. May's life took an unexpected turn after years of a seemingly happy marriage. May, 35, male, and their spouse, 32, female, had a strong relationship for 8 years, with 6 years of marriage. Despite some rough patches, they always managed to navigate through challenges and maintain a close bond. Both of us held high-paying jobs, ensuring no financial problems. The only recurring argument we had was about having kids. I envisioned starting a family, coming from a large family background myself. However, she wasn't ready to take on a parenting role so soon in her life. I'd respected her opinion as she focused on her career goals, ultimately leading to a career-changing promotion 3 years ago. Seeing her dedication pay off was joyful, but it took a toll on our relationship. Her new role brought more responsibilities, leading to her exhaustion and distance. Late nights at work and weekend business trips worsened our intimacy level. She only had intimacy when I initiated it, and that too very rarely, as she mostly excused herself with some reason or the other. This made me frustrated, but I stopped making any advances from my end after a point. In hindsight, I realized that she never stopped caring for herself, even when the bedroom fun was zero. Be it revamping her wardrobe, hitting the gym often, and dressing up regularly, I'd respected her too much to think that she would do something as low as cheating outside the marriage. It never occurred to me even once. When I found it, it was completely by accident. My phone was low on charge, and I picked hers to make a call. Her phone was nearby, though I didn't know her pattern. My wife was asleep, and I didn't want to wake her up. To this day, I don't know what spurred me to do it, but I took her phone by the sides and held it tilted against the light dimly. I could make out the swipe pattern of her fingers, which I replicated. I was surprised that it actually worked. Ignoring the guilty feeling, I checked her WhatsApp messenger, but found nothing there, which left me feeling a moment of shame. I then looked through her Facebook Messenger, and that's when my world fell apart. I discovered 13 months' worth of affectionate messages, shared memories, and plans for secret encounters. It was clear that she had been having a deep emotional and physical affair with her boss ever since she got promoted. They had engaged in intimate moments in various places, from his car and house to office trips, and even his private cabin. The pain was overwhelming, and I was left numb. Despite wanting to confront her immediately, my mind stopped functioning and I remained motionless on the couch. I vividly recalled her preparing for work with a mischievous smile and carefree attitude, while I sat there in stunned silence. As the days passed without me mustering the courage to address the situation, I could sense a growing feeling of something stirring inside me. My spirit was slowly fading away from within me. A recent conversation with my closest friend did provide some comfort, prompting me to finally address the issue head-on. I had anticipated a heartfelt apology from her, and perhaps even a commitment to work on salvaging our marriage. However, reality turned out differently. Although she did show brief moments of contrition and expressed regret for causing me pain, it was only then that I truly grasped the gravity of the situation. She sincerely acknowledged the unintended harm caused, revealing a long-standing desire to share her feelings, believing I wasn't prepared to hear them before. Overwhelmed, I pleaded and wept, desperately trying to keep her from leaving, resorting even to threats out of frustration. This ultimatum proved to be the breaking point. From then on, any chance of reconciliation vanished as she chose to sever all ties with me, leaving our communication in limbo. As her lawyer, I didn't contest the divorce when it finally happened 6 months later, and we reached a fair settlement since she was also gainfully employed. Soon after the divorce, she moved in with her new partner, and they are now married. Recently, I came across a photo on her Facebook where they announced their pregnancy. It struck me as odd because she had never wanted to start a family during our marriage. I've struggled with feelings of unhappiness and have attempted dating, but it hasn't been fulfilling. The early years of our marriage, filled with love and excitement, are what I miss the most. I'd often find myself wishing I could change the past. even though I'm not sure what I would do differently now. To those in a similar situation, I urge you to find ways to move forward and give yourself time to heal, avoiding the temptation to check up on your ex's social media. From now on, as it's only going to bring back all the emotions, believe in yourself, brother, and get back to the dating world. You certainly will find someone who will treat you right. Just go no contact with her and let time do its job. You'll certainly heal, just don't give up. I'm with you, man. I agree with this. The Facebook checking is something I did a lot after D-Day. Back then, I just wanted to know what she was up to, not knowing it was driving me insane. But opening that up just created more suffering. It took me several attempts at forcing myself not to check in on her, but I stuck to it until eventually I no longer cared, and my nerves were better off for it. Your story reads like so many stories here. Your story is our story. I'm so sorry you're in this place. I wish I could go back in time and change things, even though I don't know what I could do differently. Cheaters follow a pattern. You have to understand that it's nothing you did or didn't do. It's not your fault. These people have the relentless emptiness within them consumes good people, as cheaters are focused solely on fulfilling their desires without care for who they hurt. They are never satisfied and always seek something better, even when they already have the best. This behavior is common in narcissists. The sudden devastation they leave in relationships, transitioning effortlessly to a new facade in life, is a clear sign of dealing with a narcissist. It's as if you were in love with someone who never truly existed. You were merely a character in their game, and now your part is over. It's essential to be compassionate towards yourself. Trying to comprehend someone so internally damaged that they lack basic decency, humanity, and authentic connections is futile. Shift your focus to self-care and healing. Infidelity is truly crushing and can leave us feeling broken, but we must work on picking up the pieces left behind by the cheater. Leaving Vest behind is a difficult experience. It can be hard to come to terms with the fact that the person we once loved is not who they appeared to be. It's essential to acknowledge that the individual we cherished was an illusion, and we need to mourn that loss. Continuing to check their social media will only prolong your healing process. It's important to allow yourself the time and space to grieve and recover, rather than rushing into another relationship when you may not be ready. Remember, it's okay to take the time you need to heal. Research the concept of radical acceptance, which involves accepting the reality of the situation without necessarily agreeing with or approving of it. Embracing this mindset is crucial for moving forward successfully. The future holds promise, and you will emerge stronger from this difficult time. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. See you in the next video. Have a great day, everyone.